son of a woman and a man who lived in strife. He was tired of being poor, and he wasn't into selling door to door. He worked like the devil to be more. The purpose of this video is to try to teach you how to play 4 and 20, a beautiful song by Stephen Stills off the Déjà Vu album by Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. It's a wonderful song, great song to learn some finger picking with, and a new tuning to boot. So I hope you enjoy this. First, we have to talk about the tuning of the song. I originally tried to play this song in standard tuning, and you could somewhat approximate it, but really, in order to get the sound of the guitar right, you need to tune up properly. I believe that Stephen actually tuned up into an E modal tuning, but I prefer a D tuning because it works better with my voice. So this, I have my guitar tuned right now into that D tuning, and it's DADDAD, D-A-D, D-A-D. So starting with the lowest string, you drop the E down a full step to D, you leave the A string alone, you leave the D string alone as well. The third string, which is normally tuned to G, you drop that down to D, and if you'll notice, the third and fourth strings are actually in unison. The B string, or second string, you drop down to A, and then finally, your E string, high E string, you drop down to D. So once again, you have D, A, D, D, A, D. And that's it. You get this wonderfully nice, rich D chord just by strumming when you're in this tuning. And if you've heard many of Stephen Stills' songs, you'll notice that he writes a lot of his songs in this tuning. So once you learn this single tuning, you can actually play a whole bunch of songs. Start with the intro. Now the intro, basically, the intro is mimics what you do during the verse. It's the same riff, and it's just a drone on an open D chord on this, basically this open sound. The only thing that's changing is what you're playing on the top two strings, the first and second string. So the first shape that he plays is achieved by placing your first finger on the 7th fret of the first string, and by placing your third finger on the 9th fret of the second string. And when you play that in combination with the open strings, you get a nice D sound. The second shape that he plays, he drops this down a whole step so that your fingers are on 5 and 7 respectively. And then the third shape, he drops it down so that your first finger's on the 4th fret of the first string and the 5th fret of the second string. And when you play this open, that's your D major bread and butter chord for this entire song. Combining that with the finger picking, which is just an outside-inside kind of figure, again, the connecting figure that he plays in between each repetition of that riff is a simple hammer-on that he performs by hammering on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And you can add the bass note with it as well. And then he slides back up to our 4-5-D shape. So all together, now I've seen some people hammer on with their first finger and then play the 4th fret of the first string, so they just go. And that's fine, but I've watched some videos with Steven actually playing, and it looks like he slides back up to the fuller D shape. So I prefer to use that. But again, do whatever feels natural. So the intro now in its entirety. The chorus is really simple. It consists of just 2 chords, and then it returns to D. Those 2 chords are the following. The first is an F shape, which is played by putting your your middle finger, your second finger, on the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and doubling it up and by placing your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of, if you can see that, of the 3rd string. So you've got these 2 notes. And you continue the picking pattern. Then you slide up a full step so that both fingers slide up to the 5th fret. And then back to D. So all together it sounds like this. Now when you go back to D, what Steven does is he slides up again on these top 2 strings, this time placing his first finger on the 10th fret and his 3rd finger on the 12th fret of the 2nd string, and he plays a pattern that sounds like this. He plays it differently every time. The point is just to try to get the feel of it right. So all together, those 3 chords sound like this during the chorus. I usually add just some harmonics to transition back into the verse, and it starts over again. Well, that's it. I hope that you tune down your guitar, be adventurous, don't worry about it, and I hope you learn this song because it's really worth it.